Let's talk more about this with syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. All right, Charles, 200 days. I'm going to put up a full screen of President Trump. Understanding what we heard about Congress. Illegal border crossing fell 64% in May. Arrests down 53% from last year. 860 regulations rescinded or delayed. Order to move oil and gas, natural gas drilling applications forward. 30% of ISIS territory reclaimed in the last 6 months. Legislation signed to make it easier to fire people at Veterans Affairs. That was the big piece of legislation. Appointed, of course, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, and 354 of 577 key positions needing Senate approval have no nominee. 132 have been confirmed. That on the negative side. Thoughts of 200 days of President Trump?
Well, I think the major achievement, of course, is Neil Gorsuch, which will influence the court for generations. There was quite a bit of deregulation, the Congressional Review Act, which allowed the rescinding of 14 regulations that had been approved at the end of the Obama administration. 14, incidentally, out of 15. Guess who vetoed the last regulation was John McCain. He's been feeling ornery all year. But look, these are all achievements. They're undeniable. They're mostly presidential achievements. The fact is that the Congress has been a complete bust. And that, I think, is a huge disappointment. Here they are. They've been saying for 7 years, give us control, give us the signature in the White House, we will do great things. And on the great things, they did nothing. The Obamacare repeal was an epic fail. They had 7 years to work it out. And for some of the senators, it was a matter of bad faith. When they had a vote to repeal, knowing that Obama wouldn't sign, they voted to repeal. When they had the same vote to repeal, knowing that President Trump would sign, they voted the other way. That, I think, is going to be a millstone around the neck of the Congress for a very long time.
I want to put up two graphics. One is the Dow. We just talked about today's Dow Industrial Average, and you see the record highs. We've hit 9 of them in recent weeks. And then the president's job approval, according to Real Clear Politics, and the split between the red and the green being his approval and the red being his disapproval. Is it possible that we're missing, that the polls aren't telling the true story? The president tells the story that these campaign-style events are packed, that he hears from Trump supporters all the time. Like the election, is there a disconnect that the polls are not showing?
Well, the polls aren't God, as we learned in 2016. The fact that there's that great enthusiasm whenever the president goes out and campaigns, essentially, these rallies, I think speaks to a lot of things. I don't think he's won over independents and Democrats. I don't think he's lost a lot of his base. I think it's mostly quite steady. And it's not surprising that the market would go up and the poll numbers would remain flat. The market only affects a relatively small number of people. And remember, the market response is anticipating what hasn't happened. Everybody assumed we'd be on tax reform now. We are so far behind on tax reform, and also, incidentally, on infrastructure, that we may not get a tax reform at all. The best we might get is tax cut, because everybody agrees on tax cuts, and that could blow a hole in the budget. So I think rocky days ahead.
All right, Charles. Thank you.